Welcome to the Tangent Podcast, the kickoff episode for Season 3. It's great to be back with you guys.
It has been so long, so freaking long.
It's been, I think, what was it, February last time we posted?
Yeah,
is that
probably.
right?
So 7-8 months about.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
It's fun. I missed this.
This is good stuff for sure.
And we know you guys missed it too.
I don't miss the problems with technology, though.
Oh my gosh. We've been sitting here for about an hour and a half trying to get this figured out. So, that's great. But we got it figured out, and it'll be better in the future for sure.
And welcome back to you, the listeners. We appreciate all of you, and we've had quite a few listens in the hiatus.
Yeah, surprising amount, actually.
Yeah, that has been impressive, and we're grateful for it. So thank you for sticking around.
Would you say it's doubled since
I think
last time?
not quite double, but 30%.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the listeners!
Also, if you hear panting, jumping, click-clacking...
That's just Austin.
My dog is going bananas right now, so just ignore that for now. That's just temporary. Doggo. Till he... Hi, bud.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what do we got on the agenda today?
Well, first of all, we got this delicious, delicious beverage, which I don't think any of us have tried this one yet, called Mountain Dew Rise.
It's Mountain Dew's new energy lineup, right? Which
they
have 3 now, I believe.
They've got like 4 or 5. Oh, energy lineups?
Yeah.
They have AMP.
Because they have...
And Kickstart.
Yep. And there's another one, Game Fuel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The Game Fuels are not my favorite.
I actually kind of like them because there's a lot of juice in them. Like, that's why they taste so weird, is because it has juice. And also, these have a lot of juice in it, too. So you might not love these either.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
This is the Pomegranate Blue Burst.
I did have one of these. It was the Tropical Sunrise, I believe it was called. But I have not had this flavor yet.
So it seems like a lot of their... the Kickstart and this are geared toward, like, morning awakeness.
Immune support and mental boost.
I need that.
Ooh.
Ooh. That's very good.
I actually really like that.
I love that.
Has kind of an interesting aftertaste, but it's not bad.
I've had better.
Doesn't mean it's not good.
Out of 10, what do you guys give it?
8?
You don't like it, do you?
Like 5, 6
Wow.
at most.
I was going to say a
I don't know
7
what it
to
is.
7.5. That's good.
I'm giving it an 8. I love this.
There's like a noticeable fakeness that I taste.
Well, anything blue is going to have noticeable fakeness.
Yeah. We were just talking today about how there's that episode of The Office where Dwight says, "Hand me the blue one." And Michael goes, "Blue's not a flavor." And Dwight picks it up, and Michael says, "What's the flavor?" "Blue Blast." "Oh, I love that one."
All right, well, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about the fine state of Georgia.
Georgia? I have to say Georgia every time I write or type it,
so
I could spell it right.
Yep.
Georgia. That's how it's said in my mind.
Georgia.
And I just realized, today, that we posted Hawaii before we even did Georgia. So we kind of went out of line in alphabeticalness, but I think they'll live.
I believe alphabeticalness is the technical term.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They use it in the PhD field.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Since I haven't gone into my PhD yet, I'm guessing that's why I've never heard it.
Yep. We're an elite corps. All right, well, who's starting us off?
I'd be happy to start us off.
This
is one of the more prominent... I don't know if legend... It's not a legend because it's a real thing. One of the more prominent, I guess, cultural
myth?
No, not even a myth, because it exists.
It does exist. Okay.
It's one of the more prominent cultural things that has a lot of mystery surrounding it. We'll say that. It's called the Georgia Guidestones. For those who have never heard of the Georgia Guidestones, it's often called the Stonehenge of the United States. It's nothing compared to the real Stonehenge over in England, but
As far as size.
yes, as far as size and
mystery.
Guide
Yeah.
stones?
the Georgia Guidestones.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a granite. It's made out of granite monument that was built in 1979 in Elbert County, Georgia. So the way that the Guidestones are set up is there are 4 like tall rectangular granite slabs that are all placed in basically like a square formation. So one at each corner of the square. They're all facing at 90-degree angles to each other.
Okay.
So that, I guess they make a plus sign is a better...
Are these new, or are these like as old as Stonehenge kind of
No.
thing?
No, it was built in 1979.
Oh, did you already say that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I must have missed that part.
And it's clearly like human made.
Yeah, it's like 100%.
But we don't know who?
No, we know who. So,
okay.
Kind of.
so there are these rectangular... Yeah, kind of. There are these rectangular stones arranged kind of in a plus form. There's 4 of those, and then in the middle there's one singular that's in the center of all of them, and then on top of all of them is the capstone that touches all of the 4, I guess, pillars or stone rectangles around the outside. And then on these stones is a set of 10 guidelines that are inscribed in 8 different modern languages, and then there's a shorter message at the top of each stone that's inscribed in 4 different like ancient language scripts. So they're about 90 miles outside of Atlanta, so you can kind of east of Atlanta, so you can kind of get a bearing of where they are within Georgia. And they are astronomically aligned, meaning that one of the stones is aligned with the North Star, and they're aligned in such a way that there's a hole on, I believe it's in the capstone, that every day at noon the sun will shine through that hole and it illuminates the day on a calendar that's engraven on like the ground.
That's pretty sick.
And they serve as a sundial as well. So they're in like an astral calendar, a sundial, and they have these guidelines on them. So pretty cool. It's 19 feet 3 inches tall, 6 granite slabs total. They say it weighs about 238,000 pounds, which is a lot. And I guess the mystery surrounding this is...
Sorry, I just wanted to get a visual of what we're talking about. Okay, all right.
Yeah, there you can see. Just look up a picture of the Georgia Guidestones and you'll see exactly what
Or
we're
check
talking
out our
about.
Sochmead.
Yeah, the Sochmead.
Has that been updated? Like with the stuff?
Yeah, we post every episode on there. Like we post
Every time we post an episode, we put the
like pictures
pictures of what we talked about.
Yeah. I
Sochmead.
need to visit this Sochmead. I just don't like Facebook.
Yeah, I don't love social
Well, I don't think we're on
either, but
Facebook, really. We are, but we don't do anything on Facebook. We're on Instagram.
I do
mostly.
actually a lot on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I post everything on there. Yep.
Never mind then. Shows how much I know.
Go to your favorite Sochmead and we might be there. Okay, so I guess
Oh my word!
That's a good picture.
that is good.
How many languages are on it?
So there's 8 modern languages. Let me find the list of the languages real quick.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
Spanish, English, Russian, Chinese, Arabic, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Hindi, Swahili, Classic Greek, Babylonian cuneiform.
Cuneiform.
Oh, of course. And Egyptian hieroglyphics.
And Sanskrit.
I said that.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
think so.
Sorry.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
So there's 8 modern languages, 4 ancient languages. The 4 ancient languages are used on the capstone, so you can see on the capstone,
This is
very
a good,
top
This
one.
is what we need to post.
Yeah,
This is a good
We'll
picture.
post this. So you can see on the capstone on each side of that, there's the 4 ancient languages, and then on each side of one of the 4 pillars is one of the modern languages. So I guess the mystery that surrounds the Georgia Guidestones is, first of all, who, I guess, commissioned the building of it and why.
42,000 pounds each?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry.
I think it's actually more than that. I think total it's like 270,000 pounds. So with the capstone,
The center stone. Oh my gosh, the center stone is 20,957.
Yeah.
20,000 pounds?
Yeah. That's 10 tons.
What?
Yep. It's solid granite. So getting to the man who we know of, like the pseudonym of the man, R.C. Christian is the name of this man. We don't really think that's his name. But he approached a group called the Elberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of, quote, a small group of loyal Americans. So this man comes to this granite company and says, hey, there's this group of loyal Americans that wants to build this granite monument. Can you help us out?
Uh-huh.
And he went to this group because he was under the impression that the granite in the area was like the finest in the world.
Okay.
So that's why he went here. So he went to this group, commissioned the structure, and then he explained that they wanted the stones to function as a compass, calendar, and clock. Like I said before, that they should be able to withstand like any catastrophic events. And the group kind of thought this guy was a nut. Like he's like from a cult or from some crazy, extremist group or something. And they actually didn't want to provide him a quote. They did give him quotes, but they discouraged him by giving him quotes that were like astronomically high to build this thing to try and just get him to go away. And so he basically said that he had the means to do it. Like he would, be able to pay for it. He accepted the high quote. And he said that the group that had planned this monument to be built had been planning it for 20 years and that they all wanted to remain anonymous.
Okay.
And so he brought like a scale model of the guide stones that they had drawn up and 10 pages of instructions or like specific things that they wanted this company to do.
And this group that he was with had been planning it for 20 years previous to when it was erected.
Yes.
And when was it erected again?
79. So mid-50s. Mid to late 50s are when they started planning this.
So are these instructions or are these tips?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm just going through the history of
no, you're
why.
good. You're good. History sucks, though. History's boring.
So we'll find, Jack.
No, I just mean like growing up in history class. But I love this history. Your history's great.
Shut up. Excuse me. Okay.
So he accepted the high quote.
Yeah, accepted the high quote, brought the scale model of what he wanted, and then they bought a 5-acre plot that they bought to basically build this on. And the guy that he bought it from was like a farmer. And
the land from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guy they bought the land from was a farmer, and he wanted to like keep grazing rights for his cattle and everything, so they gave him that.
That seems like a pretty small price to pay.
So built in 79, but it wasn't unveiled to the public until 1980, and there was a big group of anywhere from 100 to 400 people that was described as being there. And so the inscriptions on these is a set of 10 what they call guidelines or principles engraved on these guide stones in 8 languages. And so there's a lot of mystery surrounding these guidelines. They say that these guidelines are supposed to be used in the scenario of like rebuilding after an apocalyptic event. So society's been decimated, there's a few people left on the earth, or something like that has happened and we need to rebuild. These are the guidelines that should be used to rebuild like a functioning society.
And that's also why it's just like in case, massive EMP went off or something and no clocks or anything worked, we still have this to be able to use for time and calendar and...
Exactly.
Or we could just look up and see when it's noon. Or just use a regular sundial.
Well, you're not supposed to look at the sun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how they get you.
That's why you're wearing glasses and I'm not.
Yeah. So these 10 guidelines, there's some speculation with these. The first one, I'll just go through them all. The first one, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So the speculation with this one is that this group is some extremist group that wants to commit genocide because they're like, we need to only have 500,000 people.
Okay.
500 million people on the earth.
I get what they're saying, though. We have too many people on the planet.
Right.
500 million's a little low.
But if you were to stand every person like stomach to back and shoulder to shoulder, the entire population would fit on the island of Maui.
Wow.
Is that true?
True. From National Geographic.
Really?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the limit should be like, I think you should have put like 2 billion.
Yeah, so...
Not 500 million.
500 million is, I believe, about...
it's 90% of our...
Yeah, it's about between 80 and 90% of the population.
So, yeah, like, that's...
About 80% of the population.
What is America's population? 300 million?
370 million, I think, about that.
So this means that the U.S. gets to
The U.S. gets to live, maybe
and then-
Mexico and Canada, and nobody else.
Right, so that's the first mystery is why do they want, is this like a genocide thing? What's the deal? Or is it just a group concerned about the preservation of the earth? Okay.
I'm also curious how they came around to that number, but continue.
Yeah. The second is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So this is controlling reproduction, which...
Does that mean, like, basically only let the strong reproduce?
Yeah, which, I mean, Didn't Germany try that during World War II? And
it's called eugenics.
Yeah, eugenics. And, like, it's...
People have also accused Trump of also being in favor of eugenics.
I could see that making sense in a strictly survival scenario.
Right.
Like, you want a strong population.
Well, but also, if you're in survival, don't you want as many people as you can get?
I would say that's the bigger thing.
So you can have more people to help, farming and...
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. That's
But then it would make sense if you get to that point of 500 million, then once you hit that cap, then essentially you start weeding out the...
Yeah. I mean, you could do the whole Spartan thing. Did you guys ever... You see what Spartans did?
Oh, was this from history class? No.
I learned this from the movie 300, actually, so... But it is real. They every Spartan baby would be inspected, and if it didn't live up to Spartan warrior standards at after birth, like literally like a day old, then they would throw it off a cliff.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, China's already doing this, too, with the one child per family rule. It's not necessarily eugenics, but they're controlling the population.
Well, they need to over there. It's a little nuts.
Okay, number 3. Unite humanity with a living new language, which, if you've gone through an apocalyptic event, you have tons of different people from around the world. Maybe that's a smart thing to do, but also, like, protecting culture, I think, would also be a pretty...
I don't think... Yeah, I don't know. If they don't say stop using other languages.
That's true.
I think it's just like, hey, come up with a way that you all can communicate together.
That's true.
So I think that makes complete sense, honestly.
What is a living language?
But
it also says a new language.
A living new language. I think living means studied, written. It's got to be written. Otherwise, it's going to die. Like, and you have to be, like... be able to develop it continually.
I don't know.
Study and improve your knowledge of it. Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
I don't know what that means.
Just have,
you have
reason
no
in
reason.
all things. Just approach everything with reason, and I take that kind of as like common sense.
Yeah.
Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Sounds great.
That makes sense.
Number 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. I guess that's similar to how we have things today with...
United Nations?
Yeah, United Nations, things like that. We have world treaties that were brought out after the world wars and things like that. So, number 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. I think that's great. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. So my interpretation of that is everyone has a social duty. Everyone also has personal rights. And so where do you draw that line between someone's right to do what they want versus someone's duty to help grow society and be a contributing member. I don't know. Number 9, prize truth, beauty, love, and seeking harmony with the infinite. And number 10...
what is the infinite? Okay.
Number 10, be not a cancer on the earth, leave room for nature, leave room for nature.
So basically just saying don't cut down all the trees and...
Yeah. And I mean that has to do with controlling the population as well and not abusing the resources the earth has. Things like that. So those are the 10 guidelines, again, written in 8 languages. There was also a tablet that is called the Explanatory Tablet that was constructed to the west of the monument, and it identifies the structure, the languages used, some facts about the size and dimensions of it, the astronomical alignment. It also has some dates on there for a time capsule that was supposedly buried under this tablet, this explanation tablet, but they had some dates on there for the day that the time capsule was buried and the day that it would to be dug up, but those dates actually were never inscribed on the tablet, so no one knows if the time capsule was ever actually buried and they just didn't put the dates, or they buried it and forgot to put the dates on
Place
there.
6 feet below this spot on blank to be opened on blank.
Right, so no one knows if the time capsule's actually there or if they just never put it there but still had those inscriptions on there talking about it. So that's another little mystery. But yeah, that's
astronomical features. The author, a pseudonym. It literally says a pseudonym next to R.C. Christian.
Right. No one knows if that's his real name. One of the main theories is that it's Ted Turner, who is the owner of News Channel, 24-hour News Channel, and I think he owns a bunch of different network television.
Oh yeah, you can't trust that guy.
Again, one of the theories of who R.C. Christian is Ted Turner. He's a billionaire, multi-billionaire, who owns some different TV stations and companies and news corporations and things like that. So
founder of TBS and CNN.
Yes.
Somebody found out that the distance from the Georgia Guidestones to Denver International Airport is 666,000 feet.
Huh. The Denver airport is one we need to do, too.
I think we already did.
Did we? Oh, did we talk about that on the Colorado episode?
I think so. I don't know how we would have missed that.
Yeah, we probably did. It's been long enough, I can't remember now.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and listen and find out.
That is such a stupid thing to, why does it matter if it's from the Denver airport?
Have you not heard about the Denver airport?
No!
You never heard about the Denver airport?
That's a rabbit hole to go down.
What are they called? Wait,
why didn't this come up in Colorado?
Were you around when we recorded Colorado?
No, there's no way. What was the name of their thing? The stonemasons thing.
There's all these weird paintings in the Denver airport. Like look at these weird paintings that are in there. There's that one. There's weird statues. There's just tons of weird stuff. People think I don't know the details off the top of my head, but people think it's a dark place. There's some conspiracy.
They think it's underground. There's this weird Nazi one. They think it's a cover for the stonemasons thing or something.
I'll have to look this one up.
Yeah, we need to go into the Denver airport. I don't know all the things off the top of my head. I just know there's a lot of weird stuff with the Denver airport.
Yeah, it's got this out front of it.
Yeah.
But then again, the people in Denver are kind of weird.
It's true.
Anyway, anything else regarding the old...
the only other thing is a lot of people think that the group that commissioned it was a satanic group, and they're using this as their a ritualistic site, and that they're trying to bring about some new world order.
Well, what do you got for us there, Ryan?
Was that everything you had, Austin?
That was everything on the Guidestones. They're weird.
Very weird. Cool. Yeah. Hey, I for one appreciate it. If the world comes to an end, I'm happy to have a sundial.
And a calendar.
And a calendar.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have an intriguing one.
Intriguing.
Wait. One question. I can see the clock's not working. But paper's still going to be a thing, right? In an apocalyptic scenario.
Well,
we can still look at calendars.
Until the next year comes around and no companies are able to make new ones because there are no people to make calendars. I'm pretty sure if an apocalypse happens, calendars are kind of low on the priority list.
And then we forget Monday, Tuesday, what day?
Happy days.
We forget it all.
Yeah.
So, it's a good thing we have that.
I had somebody come up to my desk at work a couple weeks ago. And I completely forgot I had a desk calendar there, and they asked me why I hadn't changed my desk calendar yet. And I still had it set to September of 2020.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't think that Guidestone calendar will do me any good.
Your calendar's wrong. What? I have a calendar.
Yeah, that was like, what? Wait, what calendar? Oh, yeah, the one that's hanging right above my computer for the last year and a half.
That's good. All right. So off of the Atlantic coast of Georgia is a very large river named the Altamaha River. That is properly pronounced there. Yep. It's large. Quite large.
Let's take a look at this here river. I don't see no river. Oh, there's the river. Oh, dang. That's a long river.
Yes. And with it being coming right off and emptying into the Atlantic.
It keeps going all the way to the Atlantic.
Right there at the Atlantic, at the mouth. That is the technical term. Learn that in geography.
I thought that was the delta.
You can have a delta with a... They're the same thing.
Okay. Right here, is this the area you're talking about?
Yeah. So yeah, it's super large, big area, quite deep.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? It means, of course...
Swimming.
You have yourself a monster.
Oh, got it. The Bear Lake monster?
No. The Altamaha monster.
Does every lake have a monster now?
It pretty much does.
Okay.
Everyone's got to claim something. It's all part of... I don't know. I think everyone wants to feel special in some way. And they feel like, oh, look, we're special too by having the same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, there was a sighting of something. There it is.
Ew, that thing is gross.
That is supposed to be a small Altamaha monster.
Wait, there's more than one?
The Altamaha-ha.
Well, that's if you want to get into the indigenous language.
What genus is this monster from?
He's got a lot of genius. He's very smart.
Oh, okay.
Is that guts, the pink stuff?
Yeah, so the picture that you're looking at, and if anyone looks up the Altamaha monster, is, and this is actually a video that is on YouTube.
Where's the head?
The head's on the left.
That's not
That's like its whole neck. Yeah, that's his mouth.
Oh, that's like a turtle head.
Yeah. So, in this video, someone comes up onto a shore, and it's a very brief video, and sees this monster, and they're freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is this thing? Oh my gosh. And for some reason, some videos have the guts that are coming out. They have that blurred out, because I guess we can't handle guts, even though you go to the store and you see it there. But the Altamaha monster is affectionately called in the area Alti.
Alti. I like that.
I mean, he sounds like a nice monster. But there have supposedly been sightings back to 1735.
It's a long time ago.
That's a long time.
It's at least like 30 years.
But here's the funny thing. During that time, that area was settled by Scottish people. So to me, it seems like they're just trying to connect back to their heritage.
Oh, back to old Nessie?
Back to Nessie.
Ah.
But, I mean, the video itself, like, this is, like, you wonder what it is, and supposedly people say it's just a hoax. I mean, I don't know how you hoax that. Whoever did it, if it is a hoax, I mean, they did a good job. But, in general, looking at all of this as supposedly unique as LT is, I don't think it's really all that unique. But supposedly there continue to be sightings today as early as 2010 by some Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts?
Yep.
Boy Scouts never lie.
No, it's part of the Scout law.
A Scout is trustworthy.
That's right.
That's
the
first part.
No, I thought it was loyal was first.
Trustworthy, loyal,
Then
I got it
loyal,
backwards.
helpful, friendly, courteous,
kind,
obedient,
cheerful,
thrifty,
brave,
clean.
and
fit.
reverent.
Clean fit and reverent. They added fit.
They added fit.
While I was in the Lengends, yeah, they added, like, the last year I was there.
And we always added hungry at the end.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, it's clean fit
And hungry. Here's my thing. With river monsters or lake monsters, there's like hardly any sightings of them.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to go out in public if everyone called you a monster? Probably not. I would probably hide inside a lot. Maybe.
This is why I do hide inside a lot.
Because people call you a monster.
They see my face and
oh, look at that monster.
Children scream.
like maybe these creatures are nice and they hear everyone calling them monsters.
That's why they gave it
And
a
they-
nice name, Altie.
Yeah. See, they're trying to coax him out.
It's like
See?
Nessie.
Yeah. See? I think that's why these so-called monsters are so elusive. Have you seen that there's a comic of this forest ranger and he's out in the forest?
Oh,
and he's like, "Hey, it's Bigfoot." Or he goes, "Oh my gosh, it's Bigfoot." And Bigfoot turns around and goes, "Oh my gosh, it's Tiny Wiener." And so then the next picture is the guy crying in his office and his friend's like, "Hey, Gary, you seen anything fun today?" And he's like, "No, shut up."
It's a perfect cover. That's good.
Yeah, it's this one.
That's so good.
That's good.
That's really funny. Maybe we should post that on... Well, I don't know if we can post that. That's probably copyrighted.
Memes are fair use. They have to be. It's the internet.
They should be.
Yeah.
There should be a law specifically for memes. Of, like, they're free game, free for everyone.
Anything else regarding Lake Nose, whatever his name was?
One, he's not in a lake, he's in a river.
It's the same thing.
The last thing I was going to say is, if you've ever watched River Monsters, I don't remember what channel it's on.
Discovery, I think, or
Probably.
something like that.
Same channel as Swamp People, I bet.
River Monsters. The guy goes out there and he's like always looking for this giant catch, and it's very, very seldom that it's anything materializes.
Yeah.
So, in general, I'm sorry, Altie, but I don't believe in you.
Oh no. Now he's never going to show himself.
Yeah. See, first you call him a monster, then you tell him you don't believe in him and that his hopes and dreams are just crushed now. All he needs is for one person to believe in him, right?
And to clap your hands and say, I believe, and he'll come back like a fairy.
Yeah.
All right, y'all wanna hear something a little bit crazy about Georgia?
I do.
I am talking about the I don't know if it's a curse or a haunting or something like that. I think they call it the Curse of... Gosh dang it. I took all these notes on it, but not the name of it.
Let's see. The Curse of Lake Lanier.
Lake Lanier. There it is. Thank you. The Curse of Lake Lanier. So Lake Lanier is a man-made lake in Georgia. And it's got an interesting history. It's very interesting. So what happened was back in the 50s, I believe. Yeah, the 50s. The United States Army of Engineers. I don't know what that really is, but apparently that's a thing.
It's an army of arrogant people. That's what it is.
And they needed a way to help with transportation and control floods. And apparently that option was to build a reservoir. I don't really know how that helps.
Let's control the floods by adding more water to the environment.
Well, I think I don't know what happened, honestly, but and then they use it to like give water to, I think it was Atlanta. Like it's like their water reservoir. Anyway, so it's a big old lake, but it's man-made. But before it was a lake, it was actually like a valley-ish area of 59 miles. And
that's a big A lake.
No, it's huge. It's very large. And
square miles? So that's kind of like Bear Lake.
It says 59 water miles. I don't know what water miles are.
We're adding a whole new measurement to...
I don't know if it's like square miles, so you count down as well, but...
Americans will measure anything with anything but the metric system, won't we?
But before it was that lake, it was that little area, and there were actually homes there, like, and businesses and stuff. It was like a city called Oscarville, and people lived there, and they basically said, "Hey, we're buying your land to make a reservoir. Get out."
The water's coming.
Yeah, and so they were basically forced out of their homes, given a small amount for their land and their troubles and whatever, and forced to relocate. Before they started filling it, they found 20 cemeteries in that area.
In 59 miles?
Apparently, yes. There were
That's
20 different cemeteries. So they were like, well, we gotta be respectful, dig up the bodies, and we'll put them in another graveyard along with their headstones. Well, they got like 60% of them. Maybe.
Of the bodies?
Yeah,
like they couldn't find the rest of them, or what?
I'd say 20% of them, they just didn't care. And then the rest, yeah. They said there were a ton of ones that didn't even have headstones. They didn't even know there was body down there. Or they couldn't find them. Or, I don't know, digging in the wrong spot. Anyway, there were still many, many bodies still there. And then they just filled it up. So if you actually go to the bottom of Lake Lanier, thank you. It's basically like a ghost town on the floor of this lake. Like there's roads, there's houses.
Weird.
They didn't like demolition or anything.
How long ago was this?
The 50s. And those gravestones are still there.
No
and
way.
People think that
creepy.
is why this has a curse, is because they didn't respect the dead and just, kind of did that. So,
what kind of curses?
that's where we're getting to. Since the 50s, when it was formed, there have been over 675 deaths at that lake. There have been over 100 suicides, over 100 boat accidents, over 100 forced rescues, where they have to send out I don't know, whatever the equivalent of a lifeguard is over there.
Yeah. Over in Georgia.
And they say there is at least 30 deaths that they never found the bodies.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's pretty bad. So people just die and get hurt all the time there, and people are saying it's cursed. I was looking it up, and there were tons of people on Facebook and Twitter from there that were just saying, don't go, I don't go near that lake. Like they live right next to it, and they're like, I don't go there. I've never been in it, and I never will.
That's crazy.
Most of the people that go there are like out of town people or stuff like that. The people there don't. Like, they know about it, and they're not going to do anything about it.
Where exactly in Georgia is this again?
It's a little bit northeast of Atlanta.
I should see if my wife's sister, she served her mission there, if she was ever around it, and see if she knows anything about it.
Yes, it's a little bit northeast, yeah.
So, I see this picture here. So you mentioned that the maybe had the thought to be respectful and exhume the bodies and move them to somewhere else. But then this headstone just says, in memoriam of 24 graves moved in 1957 from Thompson Cemetery within Buford Dam and Reservoir Project. So that's all that they get.
They get
just
one shared headstone?
Shared headstone doesn't even mention people.
Wow. Well, yeah, see, there's probably another part of the curse. That was not good enough. Anyway, there's a guy. His name was Buck Buchanan, and he's a seasoned veteran diver, and he dives all over the place. Anyway, he said, quote, about Lake Lanier, you reach out into the dark, and you feel an arm or a leg, and it doesn't move.
Doesn't move?
That's what he said. That's all he said. And then he stopped talking, basically. Like, I think people think he was talking about, like, he was in, like, one of the graveyards underground.
Right.
And found a body. Or two, or something.
So literally saying, like, he is diving, thinks that he sees something, so reaches out to, like, so that he can tell his mind, like, it's fake, it's not really there, but then he touches it and he's like, oh, that's a body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then many of their deaths, many of the deaths recorded were near the shore in calm conditions, which doesn't make much sense. Next, it says many of the reported deaths were experienced swimmers that just drowned for no reason. Like swimming, drowned.
Dang.
Drowning survivors, so people that were drowning, they got pulled out or something like that. Multiple drowning survivors claim to feel, quote, phantom hands pulling them down.
Ugh.
And some have claimed while swimming under the water, the air in their lungs just disappear. So, like, there's air in your lungs, you're holding your breath, and all of a sudden, boom, no air.
Now, there have been alligator sightings in Lake Lanier.
Maybe it was alligators. It's all alligators. That's it. Case closed.
That's all creepy.
Wouldn't you feel an alligator bite you rather than it feel like a hand?
A phantom hand.
But, okay, so this is coming from ajc.com/news. You know how AJC is. This is saying that...
you're really making us hold out for this, aren't you?
I'm working. Okay. Between 1980 and May 2007, there have only been 9 reported cases of alligator attacks on humans in Georgia. All of Georgia.
So there's no alligators then?
No.
Okay.
Well, there might be alligators that are just not attacking people, but...
Or at a minimum, it accounts for 9 of the hundreds.
Yeah, right. But I think of those hundreds, if they were gators, somebody would have... there'd be a report of a gator. Yeah.
It's like, this guy's got a leg bit off kind of thing, like an alligator kind of.
Or, hey, I saw a big A gator.
And then many reports of boats sitting still in calm water, like, you know how they, like, turn off their engines and then start fishing off the side or something like that. Sitting in calm water, then begin sinking for no apparent reason. And capsize.
That's weird.
Several boat captains have claimed to hit something with their boat, such as a rock or large log. Then, when inspecting the water in that area, there's nothing found. And then, massive waves appear out of nowhere during calm weather, capsizing boats. It's a lake. You don't get massive waves.
Right, yeah, unless there's rain or wind or something, but... in calm weather.
So those are all accidents and stuff like that. And there, I mean, obviously, I could tell you about 800 different specifics, but I'm not going to because that would take forever. So, but it's not just accidents. There are suicides and homicides happening there too. And one interesting case was a guy named Kelly Nash in 2015. He woke up early in the morning, complained to his girlfriend that he was feeling ill, and that he was going back to bed. And so she went back to bed as well, because it was like 6 a.m. Then when the girlfriend woke up later at 7:30 a.m., he was gone. But his car keys, wallet, and ID were all still at home. 1 month later, they found his body floating in the lake with a bullet in his head. Damn. Nobody knows why, what, or how. Nothing. That's it. He was still wearing the same pajamas that he was that morning.
So it was within... Did they say how decayed his body was? Like how long they think he'd been in there? Or
I didn't look into that case super far. I'm sure it did, but next, this is like the story about this lake. It's called the Lady of Lake Lanier. In 1958. So, like, right after this thing was made, I think it was 2 years after, Delia Parker Young and Susie Roberts sped out of a gas station without paying. I don't know, they were living on the edge. They just got done with a dance. I don't know how old they were, I didn't look.
How'd they get gas if they didn't pay?
They filled it up and then left.
Back in the day, you would fill up first, and then you'd walk into the gas station.
Oh, really? Like, really, though?
Yes. Are you really that young? Like, I would do this with my parents, and, like, my parents would just give me $20, and then I would fill up the gas, and then look at the price of it, and then I'd go inside and say, hey, for pump number 2, it's 16-something, and then I'd go, yep, 16-something, cool, and then I'd give them the money, and then go.
That seems like a terrible business practice if you want to lose a lot of money.
That's why they lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
so
that's why you pay now before.
They sped out, and were never seen again. So, and then 18 months later, a local fisherman spot a decomposing body of a woman in the lake. The body floated on the lake surface, missing 2 toes from its left foot, while its arms buoyed vainly without hands. So she's missing 2 toes and both of her hands.
Wow.
And back then, they didn't have the technology, so they couldn't identify this person. They didn't know who it was. But she was wearing a blue dress. But apparently, Dawsonville people, apparently that's a nearby place, were already convinced of its identity. The mysterious body had to be Delia Parker Young. They knew it was Delia, they said, because dozens of drivers on State Route 53 had seen her after she'd vanished, appearing as a ghostly, handless apparition sauntering down the highway in a blue dress. The ghost appeared to be lost, almost as if she was searching, but no one knows what for. Decades later, it basically became like a urban legend. That's where all the high school kids would go. Like, to the scary spot was to the bridge. There was a bridge where you would supposedly see her.
It's always a bridge.
And many people claim to see her walking on the bridge in her blue dress without hands.
Delia Parker is her name?
Mm-hmm.
My high school
Delia Parker Young
was to go to the old Bingham High School that was abandoned and in shambles. And then you go out onto the old football field, and you go out to the 50-yard line, you go to the center of the football field, and then you look down at this tree, and then you're supposed to be able to see this kid that hung himself back in the day.
Dude, that's like... Do you remember the road from Colorado that we did that was like that?
Oh,
where
yeah.
you'd see the people hanging in the trees.
Yeah.
And there was the dead biker. That was always a running joke.
Yeah.
The dead biker keep getting hit by the cars or whatever. Yeah.
He just wanted to get home but kept getting hit by.
Yeah.
That poor guy.
So in 1990, which was, like 30 years later, they basically gave her a unmarked tomb because they didn't know who it was, just, out of some sort of respect. But in the 90s, the bridge needed construction. So while they were under the water doing construction or whatever, they found a car. And they pulled up the car, and it had a body in it.
Blue dress.
And it was, let's see, they found, blah, blah, blah.
Missing toes.
The dental records soon verified Robert's identity, Susie Roberts, the girl that the other girl was with. And she was still in the car under the water. So that basically confirmed that the other girl was the person with her because it was in the same general area. But apparently, I guess they drove off the bridge, is what the theory is. Anyway, but yeah, the Lady of Lake Lanier is now a thing where some claim if you go at night, you can see her wandering without hands in a blue dress.
How'd she lose her hands?
No one knows.
I don't know.
She just
She
didn't
was
have
in the
it.
car accident?
Supposedly. She wasn't in the car. So maybe she got out before. I don't know. But
Freaky.
Supposedly.
yeah, that's the car
That's
that they
the
pulled up. Yeah, I saw that.
Dang.
And then one last story to finish this off. This was pretty recent. I don't know how recent, but within the last 5-10 years, 2 men went fishing on the lake at night, doing some night fishing. And off in the distance, they saw a raft being pushed by a, quote, shadowy figure with a pole.
Oh, jeez.
And
What's so funny about
It's
that?
the freaking Reaper from Styx.
oh yeah, no, that's exactly what they claimed it to be.
From Styx?
Yeah,
the river Styx.
What is the river Styx?
He'll show you. And even the raft even had a lantern on the front of it,
Jeez.
swinging back and forth.
What?
So the river-
is that like the river,
The river
in the
Styx
underworld?
goes down to
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
Hades,
okay.
and it carries the bodies, and not the bodies, but the souls of the damned.
Yeah. They even said there was a lantern on the front of it, swinging very slowly,
Jeez.
dimly illuminating the night. And when it seemed like the shadowy figure had noticed them, he turned to them, yelled something at them, but they did not hear what he yelled. As soon as he was done yelling, the figure then jumped into the water and, quote, started swimming vigorously towards them.
Ugh.
And then as soon as he started swimming, the lantern went out. And it was completely black again. So they pulled out their flashlight and pointed it in that direction. No raft, no lantern, no person in the water.
Ugh.
That's weird.
So, a little bit freaky there.
Ugh.
And that's just a few of the stories from the old Lake Lanier.
Lanier?
I cannot remember that for some reason. But yeah, pretty crazy.
That last one's creepy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And if it was just one person, you could just say, yeah, he's being weird. But there were 2
Right.
of them.
Right.
So that's one of those classic cases of, well, more than one person saw it, supposedly.
Yeah.
Or did they both make it up? I don't know. But still. Very, very freaky.
Yeah, that one weirds me out. I don't want to go there.
I'm glad we don't have anything that bad.
Yeah, seriously.
We only have a concentration camp in Utah.
What?
For the Japanese. You guys don't know about this?
Oh.
During World War II,
Okay, yeah.
Topaz.
Yeah. You know where we need to go is Dugway.
Oh,
Go UFO sighting out there.
that'd be
Dugway.
fun.
It's like West Desert.
Is that not... I don't know.
West of Tooele.
That's...
West and
Tooele
south.
is west.
Yeah.
Yep, more west
Gee.
and south.
That's called Nevada.
It is home to what they call Area 52. It is like twice or 3 times as big as Area 51.
Wow. Utah's something else. Don't we also have that guy who supposedly hid treasure down in the southern part of Utah?
That was found already.
Oh, it was found?
But there is some other guys
That was found already, too.
The other $10,000?
Yeah. So there's 2 brothers now that last year hit a chest with $5,000 and left a clue, like a riddle.
Huh.
And that was found within like 4 days. So then this year they put 10 grand in there and hid it somewhere along the Rockies. I think it was in Utah. Like, it's got to be within Utah.
Uh-huh.
And they left some clues, and they released more clues and stuff, and then somebody found it like a month ago. But my cousins texted me about it, and they're like, "Hey, we need to find that. Like, let's legitimately like look for this thing because this big thing." So they're gonna start doing that every single year now.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I got, and that's the great state of Georgia.
If you know of anything from Georgia, let us know what we missed.
There was a lot more that we missed when I was looking. There was a lot,
yeah.
But
The South has some creepy stuff.
really does.
I think it goes to them having more history.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I would think in the West, if you go back history stuff, you're either going to go ghost towns or probably
we have
like
Native American
Native
lore,
Americans,
which is like the
oh,
creepiest.
skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers, yeah.
We need to go to Skinwalker Ranch.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Remember when we went to the graveyard? I almost crapped myself.
That was a fun episode. Yeah. Well, yeah, let us know the next one we do. We already did Hawaii, so it'll be
Illinois?
Illinois. Yeah.
Idaho?
Or we did Idaho. Do we want to re-record Idaho? Because we did that like 8 months ago.
No, I mean, the things are still the same.
Okay, we're going to release Idaho, and the next one will be Illinois. So,
Illinois.
So, let us know what you want to hear from the great state of Illinois. And if there's anything else besides a state that you want to hear about, let us know about that as well.
And thank you for listening.
Yeah,
we got a lot of great listeners. I went and checked on iTunes the other day, and we had a few reviews on there.
Oh, really?
All of which were 5 stars.
No,
what?
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
We've never even asked for 5-star reviews.
Yeah, all those podcasts, every single time, there's like, leave us a 5-star review, and I just feel like you're kind of begging at that point. Like, if they like it, they'll rate it.
Wow, I didn't know we had reviews.
And
That's
2
great.
of them actually, wrote something down, saying, love these guys, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I can't remember what they said, but I read through them, and I was very appreciative of that.
That's awesome.
I'm working on putting a website together for us, and I
nice.
put their reviews on the website.
Nice.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, you can. We'll put our website in the description and stuff like that, and our social medias and the Do Fund.
The Do Fund.
Don't forget about the Do Fund.
Yeah, donate to the Do Fund so that we can have more dew.
And then
This is actually Mountain Dew.
Actually, it is. Yeah, for
probably the first
first
time ever.
That's hilarious.
Well,
Well,
I
we're still
liked
calling it the
that.
Do Fund.
We'll have to try the
other
rest
flavors
of
of
those
them,
flavors because
yeah.
I liked that.
I found a new energy drink. I have no idea what it's called because it was not English, but it was super good, and they have a lot of flavors. So let's try it out.
Nice.
But yes, thank you so much for watching. Share with your friends, and I guess leave a review.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be 5 stars. Leave what you think the show is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Give us the feedback.
Yeah, the feedback.
And I think we're going to try and shoot at least for every other week.
Every other
moving
week.
Forward.
Yep.
Now that Jack is graduating from college.
Graduated.
Yeah. Nice. And I'm back at college teaching, so that'll be busy.
But no, we should have a lot more time now.
Yes.
But yeah. But thank you again for listening. I almost said watching. But yeah. Share with your friends. Send us ideas. Oh, and we need more user user stories.
Yes.
Or whatever, like what we do at the beginning of the show. Oh, we didn't do one this time because I completely forgot.
Yeah, we didn't.
User submitted
I
stories.
need to go check our email
There's
and see if we
no
have.
way there's anything in there. Anyway, we're going to end this before we ramble on too long. So
Yep.
thank you again, and have a great day.
Love you all.
Goodbye.